Now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
It's no news in the sports world that one of the most celebrated NFL Hall of Famers, Shannon Sharpe, is at the center of a $50 million sexual assault lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend. However, in a shocking turn of events, Gabriella Zuniga, the accuser, just revealed how she planned the whole situation. And guys, it was smooth.
She says that she met Shannon Sharpe when she was 19 years old in a gym in Los Angeles back in 2023.
The media is buzzing as everyone awaits the impact of her revelation. In this video, we are diving into the revelation, the lawsuit, and the defense. The lawsuit and accusations. Shannon Sharpe, the former NFL tight end and current media personality, is facing a $50 million lawsuit from a woman who claims he assaulted her multiple times. The accuser, initially filing under the pseudonym Jane Doe, but since identified as Gabriella Zuniga, filed the lawsuit in Nevada through attorney Tony Busby. According to court documents, Zuniga alleges that she met Sharpe back in 2023 at a gym in Los Angeles when she was just 19 years old, and Sharpe was in his mid-50s. The lawsuit claims their relationship began consensually, but she claims things took a dark turn. Zuniga claims that Sharpe raped her in both 2024 and 2025, with the most recent alleged assault happening in January of this year. She describes the assaults as brutal and claims that Sharpe used his physical strength and age advantage to manipulate and intimidate her. The lawsuit also alleges that Sharpe demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be available at his command. She further claims that during one argument, she became fearful because there was a handgun visible in the room, and that when she tried to share her location with friends, Sharpe allegedly grabbed her by the neck and threatened her life. It's important to note the timing of this lawsuit. It came shortly after reports that Shannon Sharpe was potentially in line for a massive new media deal reportedly exceeding $100 million. This timing has become a key point in Sharpe's defense. Sharpe's response to these allegations has been swift and unequivocal. He has categorically denied all the claims and, through his attorney Lanny J. Davis, maintained that his relationship with Zuniga was entirely consensual. In an unprecedented move, his legal team released explicit text messages allegedly sent by Zuniga to Sharpe. These messages, according to Sharpe's attorney, show that Zuniga initiated their sexual relationship and explicitly requested certain sexual activities, including role-playing scenarios. One of these alleged text messages reads,
"I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're f***ing me. Another, I know you miss this big juicy ass. $25,000 for each cheek."
And just when I thought that was all, another text message the accuser allegedly sent to Sharpe reads,
"You better crave it, cuz you're gonna be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me."
Sharpe's attorney stated that these messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communications initiated by the plaintiff. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by the plaintiff. The situation escalated when Tony Busby, Zuniga's attorney, released an audio recording that purportedly captures a conversation between Sharpe and Zuniga, in which a male voice allegedly makes threatening statements.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. It is what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you.
I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
In response, Sharpe released a video statement where he went on the offensive against both Zuniga and her attorney.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right.
Sharpe claimed there's a sex tape that Busby might release, but alleges it's been edited to portray consensual acts as non-consensual.
That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
This reference to Carly and OnlyFans is significant as it reveals that Zuniga allegedly has an OnlyFans account, which Sharpe suggests points to ulterior motives behind the lawsuit.
Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Sharpe concluded, a significant detail emerged during this back and forth. According to reports on The Breakfast Club, Shannon Sharpe's legal team actually tried to settle this case for at least $10 million. This raises the question, if Sharpe is completely innocent and believes this is just a shakedown, why would his team be willing to pay such a substantial settlement? The evidence and contradictions. Let's examine the evidence and contradictions that raise serious questions about these allegations. One of the most compelling elements is the text messages between Zuniga and Sharpe that seem to directly contradict her assault claims. According to reports from The Breakfast Club, on January 2nd, 2025, when Zuniga claims one of the assaults took place, she sent Sharpe a text saying she had cried after he left because she had asked him to put on a condom and begged him not to engage in certain sexual acts, but claims he didn't listen. However, in other messages from around the same time, Zuniga allegedly wrote things like, "I want to be abused, daddy," and "I want some hardcore BDSM action." She also allegedly texted, "I want you to tie me up like this and abuse me, daddy." The messages were reportedly labeled as "from Gabby to owner." These contradictory messages raise serious questions about whether what Zuniga now characterizes as assault was actually part of the consensual role-playing she had requested. Another interesting aspect concerns Tony Busby, Zuniga's attorney. Sharpe specifically called out Busby, claiming he targets black men, and pointing to a previous lawsuit Busby filed against Jay-Z, which was eventually withdrawn, with Jay-Z subsequently countersuing Busby. Stephen A. Smith, who works with Sharpe on ESPN's First Take, addressed this connection.
There's two thoughts there. On one hand, there's the Jay-Z, who obviously should be presumed innocent, not just because you should be presumed innocent until found guilty, but because of the manner in which he fought on his own behalf and has been very aggressive in going after Tony Busby.
Smith continued.
But we can't forget that Tony Busby was also the person that represented at least 24 of the 27 women that accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct along with other allegations. And at least 23 of those cases were settled.
This history establishes a pattern of Busby filing high-profile sexual misconduct lawsuits against prominent figures, particularly black men, with mixed results. Another contradiction emerged regarding the alleged video. When Sharpe claimed Busby might release an edited tape, Busby initially told media outlets that he is a liar. He never even actually saw it. It wasn't even referenced or referred to in the case we filed. However, Busby then contradicted himself by stating, "It should be known that there is indeed a video." The video was shown to his lawyers at a mediation. He added that the video was made available for Sharpe to view personally, but claimed Sharpe didn't want to view it and chose to offer a substantial amount of money instead. This admission that there was indeed mediation and settlement discussions contradicts the initial portrayal of the lawsuit as something that came out of nowhere. When questioned by Laura Stiles of The Breakfast Club, Busby confirmed they had been in contact with Sharpe's legal team since February 2025, long before any announcement about Sharpe's potential $100 million media deal. Sharpe's legal representatives tell a different story about the video. They claim they did ask to see the full video to ensure it wasn't altered, but that Busby denied them this opportunity. They maintain that the version shown was edited to misrepresent what was actually a consensual encounter. Regarding settlement discussions, while Busby suggests Sharpe was eager to pay to make the problem go away, Sharpe's team claims any settlement discussions were initiated by Zuniga's side and that they walked away because they felt it was a shakedown. The audio clip released by Busby that allegedly captures Sharpe threatening Zuniga has also been questioned. It's only about a minute and a half long, and without the full conversation, the context is unclear. Sharpe's attorney stated that Shannon spoke in the heat of the moment and did not literally mean the words. After Sharpe mentioned Zuniga's OnlyFans account, people began searching for her profiles online, leading to the discovery of photos and content that some commentators believe might affect her credibility. During a discussion on The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne Thagad raised concerns about the age difference between Sharpe and Zuniga.
This is a very, very messy situation. I don't know what's true and what's not true, but I have no idea why a 54-year-old man is dating a 19, 20-year-old. I know y'all like to be out here bragging about smashing these young things, but that's not a flex to me. You 54 years old, you should be laid up with your wife and kids, taking your cholesterol medicine.
A legal analyst on Houston's Factor Uncensored raised concerns about the provability of Zuniga's allegations. In this case, she's saying this is a consensual relationship. They had a lot of consensual sex. And on these 2 or 3 separate occasions, it just so happens that it wasn't consensual. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a thing and that these situations don't happen within the context of consensual relationships, but I do think it's going to be a lot difficult to prove it because it begs the question, if it happened one time in October of 2024, how did it then happen again in January of 2024? The legal analyst then raised some critical questions. If it happened at her apartment as she's alleging, who did she tell? Did she speak to the apartment landowners? Did she call 911? Did she go to the hospital? So there's a concern about provability. The money, motivations, and what's next. Let's examine the financial aspects, potential motivations, and what this might mean for Sharpe's future. One significant aspect is the enormous sum of money involved, $50 million in damages. This figure has raised eyebrows, especially given the timing shortly after reports that Sharpe was in line for a massive new media deal, potentially exceeding $100 million. Adding to this narrative is the revelation that settlement discussions had already taken place, with Sharpe's attorney disclosing they had tried to settle for at least $10 million. This suggests both sides were negotiating substantial sums before the lawsuit went public. Charlamagne Tha God suggested on The Breakfast Club that
Shannon Sharpe and his lawyer have handled this whole situation terribly. First of all, if you're saying to Sharpe, you shouldn't be saying anything.
No, he shouldn't.
Busby and this young woman got audio, video, and text messages. If you know all of those things are out there, you should shut the F up and continue to allow your lawyer to do his job. And your lawyer said out of his own mouth that you was close to a $10 million settlement with that girl. That right there is all the more reason to shut the F up.
He continued, weighing both sides. The possibility of Shannon Sharpe being guilty and the possibility of the plaintiff lying about the facts for monetary gain. However, Charlamagne Tha God criticized the legal strategy that Shannon Sharpe and his legal team adopted, transparency. He argued that attempting to settle with the complainant shows, in a way, that Sharpe is privy to the allegations slapped on his face.
I'm not here to speak to Shannon's guilt or innocence because I don't know, but I do know attempting to settle looks like an admission of guilt because I'm not settling.
Yeah, or you're just scared.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're just probably scared.
This perspective, that settlement discussions could be interpreted as an admission of guilt, highlights one challenge Sharpe faces in the court of public opinion. However, others might view settlement talks as a pragmatic business decision to avoid costly litigation and reputational damage, regardless of the allegation's merit. Sharpe's employer, ESPN, is closely monitoring the situation. Although they are yet to take action or say their take on the matter, it appears that they are not sleeping on it. Stephen A. Smith revealed he had spoken with Disney co-chairman Jimmy Pitaro.
We are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said.
Smith expressed his hopes for a positive resolution, but acknowledged uncertainty. He expressed support for his friend, but also gave room for doubt and spoke about how these recent allegations are making Sharpe trend in the media for the wrong reasons. He also gazed at what the future holds for Shannon Sharpe in the wake of these sexual assault allegations. Smith wishes that the storm would be over soon for Shannon Sharpe, and he would be allowed to get back to his business like Jay-Z.
In my perfect world, this equates to Jay-Z, where the case ultimately dropped and Shannon is allowed to continue on First Take and continue to thrive and shine. And not just that, and have an illustrious career in the podcast stratosphere, doing Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, doing Club Shay Shay, and ultimately gets this $100 million deal that he was all over the news about to sign just a couple of days before this report came out. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right.
Legal analyst B.J. Akimbola drew parallels to another high-profile case. This case reminds me so much of the Johnny Depp case. I mean, assuming these allegations are not true, right? It still took a major hit on Johnny Depp's career. Even when he went to trial and was vindicated, he lost that role. And so my concern for Shannon Sharpe is that even if these allegations are not proven to be true, he may take a significant hit on that beloved stature that he has with the American public. Another potential motivation relates to Zuniga's online presence. After Sharpe mentioned her own OnlyFans account, social media users found and shared her profiles. One commentator noted this publicity could benefit her financially. But before we get started, it just occurred to me how ridiculous and chess move that this harlot instituted within this situation, because her Instagram profile is currently public with an active link to get to her of. So even if the case gets thrown out tomorrow, she's up probably more than 6 figures a month in of subscriptions due to people wanting to see exactly what Shannon Sharpe was putting his baby leg in. Nevertheless, this was taken back in 2023, right around the time that she met Shannon Sharpe. Looking ahead, there are several possible outcomes for this case. It could proceed to trial, where a judge or jury would determine whether Sharpe is liable. Another possibility is that the parties reach a settlement before trial, likely including a non-disclosure agreement. A third possibility is that Sharpe follows through on his threat to countersue for defamation. Regardless of the legal outcome, the professional consequences for Sharpe are already unfolding. His relationship with ESPN and Disney will likely hinge on their internal investigation and assessment. As Stephen A. Smith noted,
he's on national television. He was on national television with me today. He was on national television with me yesterday when the story came out Sunday night. I didn't know anything about it until we got on the air, but he was on the air. And if you know him in part because of all the work that he's doing with me and what he's doing in this industry, I know everybody's been waiting, like, Stephen A., what you got to say about this?
The fact that Sharpe has continued to appear on First Take suggests ESPN hasn't made any immediate decision to suspend him. However, the situation remains fluid. As for Sharpe's potential $100 million media deal, its status remains uncertain. Potential partners might be hesitant to commit to such a substantial investment, while these serious allegations remain unresolved. Throughout this controversy, many commentators have focused not just on the allegations, but on the age gap between Sharpe and Zuniga. While such relationships are legal, the power dynamics involved, age, fame, wealth, and influence, can create complicated situations. Some podcast hosts suggested this situation highlights the risks celebrities face when engaging in casual relationships without proper vetting. Men need to wise up. Damn. Round of applause for that particular comment right there. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Obviously, Shannon does need to take accountability for choosing a demon-spawn woman just like this. I've been wondering all day if Stephen A. would address the elephant in the room. He did so with a high standard and never got caught in any of the mess. The commenter continued, "All right, do I think that this woman is telling the truth? No, but I do think that Shannon needs to stop hooking up with all of these randoms and settle down. This is actually one of the benefits of being in a long-term relationship with a young lady, if not being married. One of the very few benefits that I'll ever say in regards to a man getting married is that it could put you in a place where you are at less risk because you have chosen someone whom you hopefully vetted over a longer period of time. And this person you trust with your information, your finances, and they are less likely to try to run your pockets in the marriage." In a somewhat ironic twist, Sharpe himself has been candid about his romantic life in the past. In one clip that has resurfaced amid this controversy, Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco Johnson apparently discussed OnlyFans modeling.
I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm gonna do. She come to me and I was like, "Damn, baby, why you didn't tell me you had OnlyFans?" She's like, "I'm sorry, Shannon, because I know you're gonna be upset, and but here's my last month check." I look down at that thing say 20,000. I don't know who you have filming, but I'm in charge now. Hey, that's my job. That's my job now, Ocho.
He continued,
"That cameraman got to go. That's extra income we can bring in this house."
Listen,
man,
and let me tell you something. Now we talk about making some real money. You talk about making some real money. You gotta understand to the extent that you can go to get that real money. We ain't talking about no pictures now. We ain't talking about just no pictures. So
this clip suggests Sharpe was aware of and potentially supportive of OnlyFans careers, which would contradict any suggestion he was unaware of or misled about Zuniga's online activities. For media companies like ESPN and potential partners, this situation presents a challenging risk assessment. They must balance principles of due process against potential reputational harm and the seriousness of the allegations. What's perhaps most important to remember is that behind the headlines and social media debates are real people whose lives and reputations are at stake. False allegations can destroy careers, while sexual assault causes profound trauma. Getting to the truth matters deeply for all involved. What's clear is that regardless of the legal outcome, this case highlights the complex intersection of celebrity, wealth, power, and the #MeToo era. It raises questions about how we evaluate allegations, social media's role in shaping public perception, and the financial incentives that can sometimes drive both accusations and settlements. That brings us to the end of our analysis of the Shannon Sharpe lawsuit situation. Thank you for watching, and if you found this breakdown helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for future updates.